Alright guys, let me introduce you to probably one of the most interesting revolvers you might have seen. And it's all made in Austria. Called the Kommando revolver, based on a Spohr frame, which is quite famous for doing high quality revolvers. They added some custom features to it, which are quite unique. And basically, this gun is a interpretation of a modern combat revolver, because revolvers used to be also quite famous in the special forces world between the 60s and the 80s and even the 90s. A lot of police units, they were using revolvers because they were so reliable. And nowadays revolvers are a bit outdated in terms of like magazine capacity and everything, but they're still very reliable. And a modern combat revolver would have to adapt to these like things like red dots and lasers and flashlights, and that's exactly what that revolver is. It's a modern revolver in a short frame with a red dot and a flashlight compensator and a lot of features which are quite unique.
Kommando revolver, first shots, here we go. From 7 meters, from a revolver in 357, shooting full house 357 Magnum hollow points, it's pretty good.
So it has a 3-inch barrel, an integrated compensator, a breacher muzzle face. It has a rail to take flashlights and in this case also a laser. It has an aimpoint acro. It has, which is quite unique for a revolver, the possibility of mounting Glock iron sights. So you have co-witness with your red dot, which is quite cool. It takes Glock sights, not Glock Max, but Glock sights. So you have the variety of mounting anything from standard factory Glock sights up to your Trichicon HD duty sights and whatever. You have an enlarged drum release button. It has a very fine-tuned double action trigger. It has G10 grips for better control, and you have a hammer without a hammer sporn, so you are not getting stuck while taking the gun out of any kind of clothing or concealed thing. So it is a very nice revolver, and you can shoot double action and also with a little trick single action. This is a limited edition revolver. There are only 20 of them made, and the gun and the whole concept of it was also basically made together with some experts. The gun was a collaboration between the guys from Alpin Arms, which are the manufacturers of these revolvers, together with some Austrian special forces people, and they were all sitting together on a table and they were talking about how would a modern combat revolver have to look like and what would be mandatory in terms of features. And these guys were sitting together on a very funny evening and talking about the possibilities, and the guys from Alpin Arms said, okay fine, I'm going to build you these revolvers. And they were like, yeah, no way you're going to do that. And he was like, all right, hold my beer, I will do that. And that's the outcome of it.
Shooting full house 357 Magnum, like relatively rapid fire, that's pretty good. Like this accuracy is at 7 meters, 3 inches. So that is not bad at all. Recoil is a little rough. In fact, I think our first group was a little bit better. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A pretty incredible accuracy for basically a snub nose 357 revolver. Between the all metal frame, G10 grips, compensator, I mean, dude, you definitely know that you're shooting 357. This will wake you up a little bit. But as you can see here, shooting it at a pretty steady clip, we can still print some pretty good groups with it. Single action trigger is really nice. There is no creep. How I kind of judge revolvers is how well they shoot double action versus single action. You can get almost any like MIM part revolver, which by the way, Tommy Spoor over there at Spoor, he does no MIM parts in his revolvers, which is why they're so GD expensive and why they have such incredible single action triggers. But again, any asshole, you have Taurus revolvers out there that have pretty good single action triggers. His double action trigger is oiled up tits on glass. It's wonderful to shoot. And the proof's in the pudding here, because it's like this single action group, and again, we're 7 meters, not 7 yards. I don't know what that is in American units. Maybe I'll put it at the bottom of the screen now. That's the group I just shot. Single action only trigger. And then here's the very first group I shot out of this gun, cold, with a double action trigger. If anything, the double action group is better. I've seen this happen before with like the Mandarin MR73, where you have such a good double action trigger, you have a predictable cadence that makes it easier to shoot. In any event, what I'm trying to say is this is a pretty nice revolver. And we got this fancy ass holster from Black Trident, our buddies here in Austria. That is pretty cool. You guys gotta admit, that's pretty cool.
Price-wise, they will be between 6 and 8,000. It's quite a lot of money for a revolver, but it is entirely handmade. It's hand-fitted, and the base of the revolver is a Spoor frame. And as you know, Spoor is probably one of the best manufacturers in terms of custom revolvers, and that's what you get for a lot of engineering and a very high quality level.
Really impressive revolver. This is exactly what I anticipated, especially when you're going with a Spoor revolver as a base.